Alright YouTube, you're back with Over the Coals. Had a suggestion from last week's video. Someone wanted to know how to grill a steak. So what better thing to start off with? So we're going to grill us a steak here this afternoon. We're going to go over all the setup for the grill, our seasonings. We're going to go through it all, guys, so let's get started. Alright guys, first things first. You want to get your coals going because we have 10 to 15 minutes of prep time. That should be plenty enough time for our coals to be ready. You want to pour, I don't know, several handfuls just for 2 steaks. You want to put them in the tightest pile you can. You want them all in the same pile. A lot of people like using chimney starters. I've never used one, but I'm sure they work great. But you can just pile them up just like this. Soak them with your lighter fluid, or you can buy Match Light if you prefer. I prefer to just use lighter fluid. If you do soak with lighter fluid, soak it, let it sit for a few minutes. Let that lighter fluid soak into those coals so it'll stay lit for you. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get this thing lit up. We're going to go over and we're going to go up to our prep table and get things ready to go. Okay, we got our grill started. I'm going to do some asparagus to go with the steak. Asparagus goes nice with steaks. Not everybody likes it. But we're going to do some here today, just in case you were wondering. This is how I do it. Pretty simple on the seasoning part. Just going to go with some pepper, salt, and some garlic. Don't be afraid to season them, guys. These things will soak it right up. Alright, I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in there with them. Okay, we're going to wrap our asparagus up in aluminum foil. Fold in both sides. Roll the front. Top. Put some nice little full packet with these guys. Right. These are going to go right to the grill. We're going to go ahead and put these on before we put our steaks on because they don't take as long. So these will be cooking while we're getting our steaks ready. Alright, just a little tip for you guys out there. This is what I do with my coals. I always put my coals to one side, and then I have what I call a cooling side. Really, for steaks, you don't really have to have a cooling side because they don't take very long to grill at all. But if you're doing something to where it has to sit off to the cool side for a while, for whatever reason, at least you have it. Also, if you have misjudged your coals and maybe you put them on there too soon, the coals are too hot, you need to move them off the coals a little bit. Without taking them off the grill, you can just move them right over. Or if you waited too long to put whatever you were putting on the grill and your coals are going out, you can slide them over here, out of the way, go back, add more coals. You don't have to do it, that's just what I do. About 10 more minutes, these coals will be ready. The steaks have been out of the refrigerator for a while, getting to room temperature. So I'm going to go grab those and we'll get started. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get our steaks seasoned up. I got some pretty good looking New York strips here. We're just going to use our basic seasonings. A little salt. Don't be afraid of that salt, guys. Pepper. Garlic. Coat that whole thing there. Alright, we're going to flip them over. Yeah, you guessed it. Same thing on this side. once you got your steaks seasoned on the top and bottom, flip them on their side. Dab the rest of that seasoning up. Season the sides of your steaks, guys. Don't just season the top and bottom. Get that seasoning in there on all the sides. Just like that. Okay, checking on our grill here. Now you'll know when your coals are getting close to being ready because the majority of them will turn white. After they started turning white, go ahead and spread them. Spread them out evenly in the bottom of your grill so that your steak cooks evenly. Moved a couple over here underneath my asparagus. Now just a rule that I use is if I can hold my hand here a few inches above the grate for 4 to 5 seconds, it's ready. It's just an easy way to tell when you've got just about the right temperature and steaks are ready to go on. Alright, we're going to go grab our steaks and get them on here. Alright. Now, a lot of people do this different. This is just how I do it. You're going to want to flip these every minute. 4 minutes aside. Now, every time you flip, drizzle with melted butter. It's a good tip there, guys. Trust me on that. Melt you some butter. Drizzle the butter. Do not brush it. You'll brush all your seasoning off. So please, drizzle melted butter every time you flip. Set you a timer if you have to. Okay? These steaks are probably 3/4 to 1 inch thick. If you buy a good steak, that's pretty much what they're going to be, unless you get one specially cut. But usually 3/4 to 1 inch thick is about perfect. All right, it's been about a minute here. We're going to go ahead and flip them. Get you some melted butter. Drizzle them things with some butter. Yeah. You want to flip your steaks every minute. That way they cook evenly on each side. If you just leave it on one side, let it cook, flip it, you know, it's kind of hard to get that even cook if you leave it on one side too long. So that's the purpose that I flip them every minute. Let's do another minute. Flip again. I'm going to butter the other side. Remember, drizzle your butter, guys. Do not brush your butter. You brush your seasoning off. Then it's going to taste like crap. Drizzle your butter. It'll flame up a little bit, but it'll stop. Don't let it scare you. Starts to flame up too much, just close the lid for a second. Close the lid for a second. Okay, we got our steaks off. It's been our 8 minutes is up. All right, we're gonna set these things on foil as soon as they come off. While they're still hot, take some butter. Slice on one, slice on the other. Now we're gonna let these things rest. What I mean by rest, we're gonna wrap them in foil. We're gonna wrap them up tight. Probably need to put another wrap on there. Wrap that up tight with our foil. When you put anything on the grill, as soon as it hits heat, it tenses up. Any meat's going to tense up when you put it to a lot of heat. So, if you take your steaks off the grill, still hot, right off the heat, take it inside and eat it, it's going to be tough. You're going to be like, man, this guy sucks. I'm telling you. Stick of butter on each one. Wrap it in foil tight. Let sit. If you can let it sit for 15 minutes, let it sit for 15 minutes. It'll be worth it. Alright, it's been 10 to 15 minutes. We've let our steaks rest in the foil. Let that butter melt. Let that meat loosen up a little bit from being so tense from being on that fire. I'm going to cut this thing open for you. There it is, guys. That's it. Perfect medium rare steak, 8 minutes. Melted butter. Rest 10 to 15 minutes. That's all it takes. Salt, pepper, garlic, a little bit of oil. Simple. Okay, that's it. How to cook your perfect steak. Medium rare steak. If you don't like it medium rare, leave it on there another minute on each side. It'll be medium. Another minute, medium well. Another minute on each side, it'll be well done. Wouldn't recommend it, but just add a minute to each side. You're good to go. I hope whoever commented, this answered your question. You got the result you're looking for. Get your suggestions in, guys. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Get your suggestions in for next week. Don't make me pick for you. All right. See you guys next time when it's time to put something over those coals.